Welcome to a deep dive into a classic German folktale today. It's an excerpt from the old Gravehill by the brothers Grimm, Der Grabhügel.
Right.
Now, you might think you know Grimm fairy tales, princes, princesses, maybe a moral lesson or two. But this one, it takes a really fascinating turn. It's less about, well, grand transformations and more about the surprising journey of this very wealthy but deeply ungenerous farmer and the wild ride that happens after he dies.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, I think, about Der Grabhügel is how it blends these supernatural elements with a very human story. It's about redemption, but also about sheer cleverness.
Right.
Our mission today is really to excavate the layers here, pull out those compelling bits about human nature, the funny ways charity can work, and honestly, an absolutely unforgettable graveyard shift.
Definitely sounds like it. It seems like this story delivers on the unexpected, maybe challenges some assumptions about good deeds and what happens next.
It really does.
Okay, so let's dig into this. We start with this rich farmer. The description of his wealth is almost like overwhelming, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Flourishing fields, fruit trees, mountains of grain from last year, fat oxen, sleek horses.
Chests overflowing with money.
Exactly. He's just sort of basking in it all, pure self-satisfaction.
But then something pretty remarkable happens. It's not someone knocking on his door, is it?
No, it's a knock on the door of his heart. A voice, or maybe a feeling, asks these incredibly pointed questions.
Like what?
Things like, have you done good for your own family? Have you ever thought about the poor? Did you share your bread? With everything you had enough, or did you just always want more?
Wow.
It immediately sets this different tone, you know? Suggesting true wealth or poverty isn't just about what's in your fields or chests.
And it makes you think, how often do we actually listen to that kind of internal knocking, that self-interrogation?
Precisely.
And his heart's answer, it's brutal, just completely honest.
It is. He admits it all. Hard and unyielding. Never did good for his family. Turned away the poor. Ignored God.
And admits that even if he owned the whole world, it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah. And the sheer terror of realizing this about himself, it makes him tremble. He literally has to sit down.
It's not just feeling bad. It's like a confrontation, a deep moral crisis. How important is that moment, that terror, for what comes next?
Oh, it's absolutely pivotal. Because unlike a lot of tales where maybe an angel appears or something,
right.
Here, the change is sparked by this internal crisis, this fear. It really highlights that the source of the reckoning might be less important than the action it finally pushes him towards.
So it's maybe less about why he felt it and more that he did feel it.
Exactly. Was it God? Conscience? Fear of hell? The story leaves it a bit ambiguous, which I think is part of its power.
Okay, so right after this internal meltdown, there's a real knock at the door.
Perfect timing, isn't it? It's this poor neighbor, lots of kids, no food.
And the neighbor knows the farmer is hard, but he asks anyway. He's desperate. Asking for a loan, just 4 measures of grain. His kids are crying.
And this is where it pivots.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but so important. The rich farmer just looks at him for a long time.
And the text says something like, the first ray of mildness began to melt a drop from the ice of greed.
That's the line. And instead of lending 4 measures, he gives him 8. Double.
Wow, okay, so a change of heart.
Well, yes and no. Because there's a catch, a big one. The neighbor has to promise to watch over his grave for 3 nights after he dies.
Oh, that's quite a condition.
It is. The poor farmer is clearly uneasy. I mean, who wouldn't be? But his kids are starving. He agrees.
So is it real charity then? Or is it more like a transaction? A desperate gamble maybe for the rich man's soul?
That's the fascinating tension, isn't it? It's born from that moment of mildness, but it's still a bargain. A very strange bargain.
And it seems like that internal moment, maybe it was a premonition, because just 3 days later...
he drops dead. Suddenly.
And the story makes a point of saying nobody mourned him.
Yeah, pretty stark. Really drives home how isolated he was, despite all that wealth. That small, slightly weird act of giving was maybe the only connection he made.
So the poor farmer, he has to keep his promise now.
Right. And he feels the weight of it. He remembers the grain, feeding his kids. But also, just... you gave your word.
Even if it was a strange word to give.
Exactly. It shows that deep value placed on a promise, on gratitude, even when the circumstances are, well, uncomfortable. It's a kind of moral anchor.
So night 1 of the grave watch, what happens?
Surprisingly. Nothing much.
Really?
Yeah. He sits it on the grave mound. It's quiet. Just the moon, maybe an owl.
Oh.
Same thing on night 2. He goes home unharmed both times.
Okay, so it almost lulls you into thinking maybe this isn't so bad after all.
Precisely.
Yeah.
A false sense of security.
Yeah.
Because night three is different.
How so? What happens on the third night?
Well, first off, the poor farmer feels it. A kind of anxiety, a premonition. He knows something's coming. And when he gets to the churchyard, there's someone else there. A man leaning against the wall, someone he's never seen before.
Who is he?
The description's great. Not young, scarred face, sharp, fiery eyes, old cloak, big riding boots. Looks tough.
And the farmer asks him if he's afraid.
Yeah, and the man says basically, afraid of what? He even compares himself to that character in another Grimm tale, the boy who went out to learn fear but couldn't.
Oh, right, the one who ends up rich.
Exactly. But this guy says he stayed poor. He calls himself a discharged soldier, just looking for a place to stay the night.
Quite a character to just show up. There's an immediate contrast, isn't there, between the anxious farmer and this fearless soldier?
Absolutely. He feels a bit like a classic trickster hero figure, doesn't he? The kind you see in folklore.
So what makes him so fearless? Is it just, soldierly courage or something else?
The story doesn't spell it out, but he seems naturally unflappable. The poor farmer definitely senses it.
And invites him to help watch the grave.
Yep. Sees his courage and thinks, maybe some company wouldn't hurt. And the soldier agrees right away. Says something like, keeping watch is a soldier's business. Whatever we meet, good or evil, we face it together.
Instantly partners up. That feels important for what's coming.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Sets the stage perfectly.
So they sit there together on the grave, waiting.
Silence. Until midnight.
And then
A piercing whistle cuts through the air. And there he is.
the devil.
The devil himself, in person, right in front of them.
Whoa, okay. What does he want?
He calls them rascals. Tells them to get lost. Says the man of the grave belongs to him. Even threatens to wring their necks.
Yikes. But the soldier?
Completely unfazed. Addresses the devil. Calls him Lord with the red feather, which is kind of cheeky.
Couples, yeah.
And basically says, you're not my boss. I don't take orders from you. Haven't learned fear yet. Go away, we're staying.
Incredible nerve. What does that defiance represent, do you think? Is it just bravery? Or is it like wit against brute force?
I lean towards wit. It feels like he understands how to handle this kind of power. He's not trying to fight fire with fire.
So threats don't work on the soldier. What does the devil try next?
He switches tactics, bribery, decides gold, that'll get these two scoundrels, offers them a bag of gold to leave.
And the soldier pretends to be interested.
He plays along for a second, yeah. But then he raises the stakes, expertly. Says one bag isn't enough. Nope.
What's the condition then?
They'll only leave if the devil can fill one of his boots with gold. Just one boot.
Just one boot. That sounds manageable for the devil, surely.
You'd think. The devil grumbles he doesn't have that much on him, but says he'll go get it from a money changer friend in town.
A friendly money changer for the devil. Okay.
Right. So as soon as the devil's gone, the soldier reveals his plan. Brilliant, really.
What does he do?
Takes off his left boot, asks poor farmer for his knife, and quietly cuts the sole clean off the boot. Then he props the boot up in some tall grass right next to the grave mound, positioning it carefully over the edge of a hidden, half-overgrown pit.
A bottomless boot.
Essentially, yes. And he says, quite pleased with himself, so everything is good. Now the chimney sweep can come.
The chimney sweep. That's a fantastic, slightly mocking name for the devil. Love that folk humor touch.
It's great, isn't it?
So they wait. Devil comes back.
Yep, with a small sack of gold. The soldier holds up the boot, tells him to pour it in, but warns him it won't be enough. And of course the gold just clinks straight through the boot, down into the hidden pit. The boot stays completely empty.
Laughs. Brilliant. The devil must be furious.
He's definitely confused. The soldier mocks him, calls him a stupid devil, tells him to go get more.
Does he?
He does. Shaking his head, leaves, comes back an hour later with a much bigger sack.
And same result.
Same exact result. Pours it all in, clinks, and clinks straight into the pit. Boot's still empty.
Oh, the frustration.
And the devil, peering into the boot with his, glowing eyes, actually says, you have outrageously strong calves.
Laughs. That's amazing. He thinks the guy just has massive legs filling the boot.
Apparently. It's such a humorous line, perfectly captures his bewilderment.
But the soldier doesn't let up, does he?
Not at all. He pushes back, asks if the devil thinks he has a horse's hoof like him, accuses him of being stingy,
Go on.
demands even more gold, or the deal's off.
He sends the devil away again.
A third time. And the devil goes, stays away even longer this time, finally comes back panting, carrying this enormous sack of gold on his shoulder.
Surely this time.
Nope. Pours it all into the boot, still fills it just as little as before. It's just draining into the pit.
The devil must be absolutely livid now.
He is. Furious. He actually tries to snatch the boot away from the soldier. But just then, the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
The first ray of sunlight breaks over the horizon.
Dawn.
And the evil spirit just flees, lets out a loud cry. His power is broken by the daylight.
That use of sunrise, it's such a classic motif, isn't it? Light conquering darkness.
Absolutely. It's archetypal. Purity, renewal, the power of night fading away. It confirms it. The rich farmer's soul, thanks to this crazy bargain and the soldier's wit, is saved. Sealed by the clock, really.
So the devil's gone. The soul is saved. There's a pit full of gold.
A lot of gold.
The poor farmer must be thinking his luck has turned. He probably wants to split it.
He does. He wants to share it. But the soldier, the real hero of the night, he has one last request.
Yeah.
And it's pretty profound.
What is it?
He tells the poor farmer, give my share to the poor.
Wow. All of it.
All of his share. A complete contrast to the rich farmer before his awakening, right?
Totally.
And then he says, basically, look, I'll move into your little hut. We'll live together, quietly, peacefully, with whatever else we have, for as long as God allows.
That's a beautiful ending. It really ties everything together. The fortune changes hands, generosity wins out. It benefits the living too, not just the dead farmer's soul.
Exactly. It highlights that powerful message. Real wealth isn't just gold in a pit or grain in a barn. It's how you live, what you share, the community you build.
So looking back at this whole story, this deep dive really shows how a Grimm tale can be so much more than just a simple moral, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a masterclass in, unexpected twists. The power of keeping a promise, even a weird one. And how just one moment of compassion.
Even if it was flawed, kind of transactional.
Exactly. Even a flawed moment can kick off this chain reaction that leads to this really remarkable, quite clever redemption.
And what does this all mean for us listening now? What's the takeaway?
Well, I think it challenges our definition of a good deed, doesn't it? It suggests that maybe, just maybe, an act of charity, even if it starts from a place of self-interest, like the farmer trying to save his own skin,
right,
can still plant the seeds for something bigger. It sets this whole thing in motion. It invites us to look beyond the obvious good versus evil fight.
And see the subtleties, the shifts in the human heart, the courage of the poor farmer just keeping his word, the sheer cleverness of the soldier.
Yeah. And it leaves us with that provocative thought, doesn't it? If the rich farmer's soul was saved by the deal he made, a deal initially made out of fear and self-preservation, does that mean any act of generosity, whatever its origin, however mixed the motive, can it ultimately lead towards salvation? Is the intent always the most important thing, or is it sometimes the impact that matters more on that final balance sheet?
That's definitely something to think about. Intent versus impact. A fascinating question to end on.